So, here we are with game 1 of this best of 3 between Daseabneren in blue and Someone Said That My Nickname Sucks in red. This is the semi-final set, or this is one of the semi-final sets between of the 2024 T2 1v1 tournament, the official Line War tournament we had going through the month of July. This is my second time casting this. When I did this originally, I cut off the first few minutes. I think I just messed up my hotkeys, but anyway, that recording is incomplete, so we are going to redo this. So that being said, obviously I already know the outcome of the match. I already know basically how this goes. I don't remember exactly, but I'm sure once we get into it I'll recognize things as they come. So let's dive into this map analysis now. We've got it's one contiguous island, or one contiguous continent, but it kind of functions like a series of islands. We have the Northwest Island, Southwest, Central Island, Eastern, Southern. Got a little bit of landmass here. So Navy could be very powerful here. Air can be very powerful and abuse these waterways. Also, these narrow land passes make it they'll give advantage to a player that's able to use these effectively. So you can clog these up with a smaller army. So a player may be able to gain an advantage by ecoing more heavily and relying on being efficient in these narrow passes. Both players went for this central island as their first pick, which makes a lot of sense. And after that, we saw a pretty big divergence. Like, both went for this, like the southeastern or the southern edge of this eastern island is contested, but aside from that, there's very little overlap. You see Daseabneren taking this north position, staying very close to the center, and Nickname threatening several locations. So lots of ambiguity in his starting position, much less for Daseabneren. Did I mention the eco sites? Because there's a lot of them. There's lots of eco, not very much energy. One here, one here, one here, one here. So 4 looks like, yeah, 4 land-based energy wells, and a couple on the water. But this one unlikely to get taken. Very vulnerable, and this is likely going to be a very hotly contested part of the map. And we see Nickname start in this, on this very narrow peninsula. Does have the option to go for 2 towns. Opts to go airport town near the central territory. Daseabneren starts 2 factories going. Tanks out of 1. 3rd factory as well, and Daseabneren does have an energy well nearby, so goes up to 3 factories, 2 of them producing tanks, a 3rd one producing artillery. Airport follows. And we see Nickname going for a quick commando jet play. So transports, this will be commandos coming out of this barracks factory after that. And worth noting, Daseabneren's pulled a lot of his infantry. The only infantry that he doesn't have moving towards the center is this group that he sent to capture this energy well. Also sends a barrack, so a very decisive move by Daseabneren to try and take this middle territory, or this middle island, and really trying to set up a contain and keep Nickname onto the southern island, or the southern peninsula. Of course, Daseabneren doesn't know exactly for sure where Nickname has started, but makes a really good guess here, because Nickname did have several territories. He could have started up here, he could have started here, and there's even a strip over on the eastern island that he could have taken. So Daseabneren's gonna get dug in here, and notice Nickname has 2 squads over here. Nickname moves quick to try and punish this infantry while it entrenches, and is going to be able to trade pretty well. But the tanks coming up, tanks tanks do very well against infantry. To fight this much infantry, they would need support, but certainly adds a lot of power to this blue force here. You can see Nickname tries to swarm them, but with the blue infantry here as well, gonna lose just about all of his infantry there. Yeah, Mike is working. Okay, cool. And we also see Nickname has this transport headed to the top left, heading to this northwest island. This is a good island to take. Energy well up here, there's a town up here, but just lots of open territory to capture. Daseabneren is able to force his tanks through, but they are very badly damaged, unlikely to be able to take out any targets. Where are we at now? 360 for Daseabneren, 460 for Nickname. To have 360 at this point in the game, Daseabneren must have started with... Did he start with fewer territories? He did get quite a few buildings at the start. Also see an interceptor here for Daseabneren. I didn't see where that was targeted. Sam's on the field for Daseabneren, and Daseabneren has been able to secure this defensive line at Nickname's base. So Nickname partially contained. He did get these 2 commandos out. Has 2 transports now switching into helicopter production. Daseabneren already has air defense on the way, has the interceptor ready, has a SAM on the way up. And this is going to be a really strong position for these SAMs. Daseabneren sees this airport, so setting up SAMs here is going to make it very difficult for any jets to leave the airport safely. Daseabneren now has his energy production up. Is there any energy production for Nickname? Not yet. He's heading straight to this refinery, wants to get that a barracks up here on his first captured territory. Also a really strong move. I love to see players get production on their first territory. That signals that they're taking the expansion very seriously. So, strong investment there. And also, Nickname has a shipyard completed. Looks like he accidentally canceled a transport boat, but we'll get that transport boat restarted. And yeah, this is looking very good for Daseabneren so far. Nickname has this position here. So this is going to be, this northwest effort and the expansion effort from Nickname is going to be very, very important. Like, that's going to be his only way to be competitive in this game. And it's a good thing that he got the kind of head start that he did, because right now Daseabneren is expanding much quicker than him. Like, Nickname has this group back here, needs to build up these eco sites, because he's going to need to get, like, he's got to make up for all this expansion that he's not doing. Like, yes, he has this barracks over here, and yes, he does have some commandos on the ground, but it's going to take time for this to really kick in and start generating a respectable amount of income. And in that time, Daseabneren is just getting bigger and bigger, completely dominating the central island. Has a farm going up now. Nickname is working on getting around this. So this is one of the things that Nickname is really good at, is he's not going to attack prepared positions. He's pretty much always going to try and find a way around it. This is a lot of commandos. And as we see, he's a plus 93, so 510 for Nickname, 460 for Daseabneren, so. And both of them pushing their economies pretty hard. I generally say that, like, plus 200 is like where you really want to be. Plus 200 means that you're producing well, but you also still have room to continue to develop, and you know, you can add buildings as you need, you can, you know, add expansions as you need. We see Daseabneren going for a commando drop of his own, still producing so he's got 3 interceptors, produce a transport for this commando drop, now going into helicopters. And like, so that's one of the strong things about Daseabneren's playstyle, is he will use many different kinds of units. So Daseabneren typically uses like much more of the unit pool than other players, and this commando drop is going to hit at just the right time. This is such a perfect time for this commando drop. A bit serendipitous, but going to be able to target down this this refinery, and I don't think that these red commandos will get here in time to save this. Alright, Nickname wants to break this SAM position. Does do so. 2 more SAMs on the way. But 3 helicopters already on the field, 4 helicopters already on the field. Nickname really needs to keep this refinery. Unable to. So these helicopters not going to be able to sortie anytime soon. That also stops this transport ship and these missile boats. Not Nickname. Pretty much the undisputed king of using commandos. Has landed 3 commandos with an amphibious landing, sending those up here towards the refinery. Now they are moving through hostile territory, or neutral territory, soon to be hostile, and moving through adverse terrain, so not getting the speed that you normally get out of these. Oh, he spots these artillery and decides to jump on them. Alright. Not a bad move. Gonna get, because these 3 commandos are gonna make quick work of 2 isolated units of artillery. Daseabneren puts down another barracks, and he is responding to this. You see the dot command at the barracks and at the refinery. And while all this is going on, Daseabneren continues to expand, continues to drop onto the northwestern territory as well. has air sorties going on. Interceptors not the best at ground attack, but they do have a ground attack, so Daseabneren, since Daseabneren is feeling pretty secure with his energy production and doesn't actually have any air targets for these interceptors, this is a solid way to use them. Looks like that is that out of range? Yes, that barracks is out of range of the helicopters, so gonna have to move those helicopters a little closer. Oh, here they are. So now it should be in range now. Yeah. It's just not enough energy. But once these interceptors land, he'll have plenty of energy to take out that barracks, and there's no air defense here for Nickname. So that's like, this snipe is gonna hurt Nickname's economy very, very badly. Like, that is a big problem for Nickname. Nickname running these commandos through, just trying to hide some commandos in Daseabneren's backline. Second group of commandos gets offloaded. And so Nickname has recognized that there's not that many units here. So just gonna go for a frontal assault. Has missile boats on the coast providing a little bit of extra damage. Gonna try and break out here. Daseabneren's still trying to get his helicopters to take this down. Let's see what they... So 620 for Nickname, 672 for Daseabneren, 682. So Daseabneren now with an income advantage. Nickname brings tanks up to break this artillery line. Lost a few of his own artillery trying to break this, but the tanks make quick work of the artillery. So now this is kind of dangerous for Daseabneren. His units are very spread out. He has a lot in the east. And of course Nickname manages to save one of these. What are these? Commandos. And Nickname has been able to keep his northwestern territory relatively safe. Still contesting Daseabneren's attempt to set up a staging area. Hasn't lost, or he's rebuilt the refinery, still has 2 barracks. And now Nickname pushing out into the center island with a pretty powerful army. Alright. Also a big airdrop coming in. Big commando drop. Looks like he wants to take out a factory. Yeah, gonna go on top of that factory. If he's able to get that, that would be a very strong move. This would be a very powerful move. And really hurt Daseabneren's ability to save his main base. Are these transports going to make it back? This one is not. So one transport goes down. It's the interceptor. The interceptor shouldn't make it, right? Ooh. No SAM from that, or no missile from that missile boat. And Daseabneren's quick response to the commando drop saves his factory. That's gonna give him a lot of extra power to resist this breakout from Nickname. And Nickname focusing, he's not going to go for a concentrated assault. Looks like he wants to spread out and get his economy and make the more economy focused move by capturing all of these central territories. And Nickname's still trying to make this eastern assault work. Now attempting to target down barracks with helicopters. This isn't very many helicopters, and Daseabneren does respond very quickly with his interceptors. also noticed that they were hasted over here. So that air response from Daseabneren, able to save these 2 barracks. Might have been better for Nickname to target 1 barracks first, considering that he doesn't have that many helicopters. Also could have brought his missile boats up to support that. Daseabneren has a 2nd refinery as well, so good energy production for Daseabneren. Gonna be able to use his air force. Now has a barrack set up over here on the northwest as well. Nickname should lose this. Nope, gonna get out with the barrack. Damn it, that's not a barrack, that's a transport. 2nd drop onto the factory, still unable to kill that. Alright, now we've got some SAM production. 2 SAMs already at the front for Nickname. Of the small force that he sent north, taking a lot of damage, taking a lot of losses too. I thought Daseabneren was actually going to attack this and clear this little entrenchment, but instead running by, going to try and get some infrastructure damage. And Daseabneren responding to the red forces moving westward. Going to pull back some of these expansion forces, or these expanding forces. To set up a defensive position here. Has it partially anchored by this wood farm, so units aren't going to be able to move directly onto this right flank, but not the most secure. Barracks over here for Daseabneren and a factory. Has a barracks in the far west as well. So it's been a pretty close fight for the center, but Daseabneren able to break the forces that were moving north, so that isolates these 2 groups of red units. Those blue tanks not able to get any damage here, so they've pulled back, now clearing out SAMs. Daseabneren still struggling for energy. Oh, that's why he's struggling for energy. He lost one of those refineries. Red helicopters have hopped across this eastern bay, again attempting to target down these barracks. And Nickname has built up enough units to clear this blue position. So pretty scrappy game, lots of back and forth. Nickname able to get out in the northwest. Still unsuccessful in targeting down these barracks. Retargets onto the refinery once again. I expect Daseabneren is probably expecting that. So as long as he has energy, he'll probably be able to scramble his interceptors to protect that refinery. That said, he did lose the southern refinery again, so now he's lost the southern refinery. So this is good for Nickname, able to get infrastructure damage. So like Nickname has killed a barracks over here, he's killed this refinery at least once. He's killed this refinery, so that's 2 refinery kills. So, oh, this is definitely not going to work. Infantry do a lot of damage to helicopters, and those 2 helicopters already being damaged, they didn't have a chance. Yeah, seven infantry, like directly underneath a helicopter, is going to absolutely annihilate it. 1010 for Daseabneren, 908 for Nickname. So Nickname 100 capital down in income, which isn't an insurmountable gap, but it's a significant deficit. Nickname Hardpoints over here in the west has a barracks behind that, so Daseabneren has completely contained Red's attempt to expand out into the center. This is going to be tougher to break, and it will be a problem later. But for now, Daseabneren has the center pretty well buttoned up. And he's also stopped Nickname from being able to move down this narrow space on the far west. Oh, there's a tank here. So Daseabneren able to force a couple of blue tanks up this way. Didn't quite get the refinery down, but it is pretty badly damaged. Entrenched Commando is going to absolutely shred this infantry as it comes up. Commandos only have 10 less health than regular infantry, but they do way more damage. So entrenched Commandos with that range buff, as well as the defensive bonus, going to trade very, very well against infantry, against regular infantry units. But Nickname not having the success we typically see with his expansion efforts, his outposts. This one still looks fairly secure for the moment. What's going on here? So it's pretty unfortunate shuffling happening here. So these commandos coming off of the defensive line and not trading as well as they should against that infantry. Blue helicopters coming over and not targeted, so they're there's a single SAM, not going to last long against this much firepower. Daseabneren wants to break this position now. Worth noting, Nickname does have 2 barracks down here. Not sure. I think Daseabneren spotted this, has a barracks coming up in the mountains. Daseabneren also has a fairly strong response to this landing zone, so Nickname going to shift his targeting, or shift his landing. Also has 2 barracks supporting that amphibious operation. Daseabneren getting his own amphibious operation going, has a barracks behind it as well, not to mention the air support behind it. Cancels the second transport, which I like. You don't need multiple transports for this small of a gap, and he doesn't have like a big, standing army just waiting to make that hop. So smart move by Daseabneren to limit that shipyard production. Helicopters completely clear this, now leaving the barracks for the ground units to clean up, sends his helicopters across, start harassing this area, or this production center, this outpost. And Daseabneren wants to open up a second front, so starts another transport now that he has a second group of units he wants to transport. So I really like that from Daseabneren. That's a really smart use of resources. Meanwhile, so this isn't an attack, this is just units from Nickname kind of bleeding out because of the orders. And Daseabneren quick to shut down the second amphibious landing zone from Nickname. Air support from Nickname would be powerful over here. Nickname is usually really good about finding areas to use his helicopters once, and his aircraft once significant air defense gets established in one area. Yeah, and that's what I mean about that position. for the SAMs. Like, they get 3 missiles onto this transport. Oh no, I ran out of coffee. This is upsetting. Nickname did throw a little counterattack over here in the west, trying to get established so that he can secure this northwest. But looking at the map, you can see he controls much less of the map. That's why he needs to get this city up as soon as he can. Nickname establishes another zone, trying to get on the southwest. Daseabneren responds to it immediately. Has a factory and a barracks here already established, so that's going to move quicker than, or that's going to be able to, you know, have units on the field faster than these 2 barracks. Second landing, or the second amphibious landing underway now for Daseabneren. Actually, these are hitting kind of at the same time. And you can tell Daseabneren getting a little... You can tell Daseabneren is really moving fast right now and looking... He's kind of all over the place because this shipyard production has continued. He doesn't need these extra transports. But really moving quick to stay on top of Nickname's attempts to get out onto the map. And yeah, right now Daseabneren with all of the momentum. Like, Nickname's trying to get out of this. He's trying to get off of the central, or this southern peninsula that he started on, just not able to break through anywhere. Cruiser is a very good pick for this, or switching into cruiser production is very smart. Again, Navy, very powerful. Cruisers, not only do they do a lot of damage, but they have really high HP, so can really do a lot to weaken the strength of ground forces near the coast. So naval support, very powerful, and gonna attempt another breakout. And this is really a bad sign from Nickname when he's trying to do something like this, when he's trying to frontal assault on a prepared position. Even though this is a small amount of units, this is still not ideal. Now Daseabneren's simultaneous assault going to be able to take out Nickname's northwestern position. Not actually targeting that down, just kind of moving in and letting his units engage at will. Daseabneren able to take down Nickname's refinery, gonna be able to break all of these units. Adds a factory to his northwestern position to add a bit of sophistication to this western force. And Nickname completely crumbling. 1122 for Nickname to 1338. It is really starting to get bad for Nickname. Losing this position, losing this northwest area, is a back-breaking blow to Nickname. This is so much of his economy. Like, this is so much economy that he absolutely needs. This position has been contained already. Daseabneren has warships coming out, missile boat coming out first, and now adding lots and lots of economy. That he's got farms here in the center is, I think that speaks volumes to how comfortable he is with the current progress of the match. This is a decently strong army from Nickname, but so it's strong for, you know, relative to the local forces, right? Daseabneren doesn't have a whole lot here. Now directing his air force into the center. Also, Daseabneren rerouting this barracks that was funneling units into the northwest, now sending it this way. 3 barracks here for Daseabneren, refinery, and 2 barracks in the south for Nickname. And even this force is fairly small. Like, Nickname has a 5-lane attack setup, but he doesn't have 5 lanes worth of troops. He's at 300 plus 186, so he could. There's still room for him to produce more and have a bigger army. Daseabneren at plus 274 doesn't have any extra capital though. So Nickname, or not Nickname, Daseabneren keeping his money low, which is always a good sign. We like to see the green number decently high, and we'd like to see that white number quite low. Nickname once again shifting the amphibious landing zone. And Nickname needs to get in here, and he needs to start taking out some more of this infrastructure. He needs to limit Daseabneren's production. But at this point, like, Daseabneren can keep, like, with this much money, Daseabneren can keep adding more production. We did see a launch pad under construction for Nickname. I'm afraid this might be too little too late. But if he's able to get a good nuke, if he's able to drop a rocket in the middle of this production, that would allow, I think doing that would allow him to dominate this central island, and could potentially give him a way back into this game. And as expected, that those 3 barracks from Daseabneren able to outpush the 2 barracks of Nickname, despite the initial advantage in troop numbers that Nickname had. Also, Daseabneren has factory units with his Eastern Army as well. Has seen the new amphibious landing from Nickname and responding with aircraft, has units routed to face that new threat. There's no way. Oh, that's why. Okay. Where is his vision? Oh, that's why. Okay, so Daseabneren spotted that transport. Oh, we're gonna have a little bit of a dogfight over here. This is very much not important to the overall outcome of the match, but I might make it the thumbnail anyway because it's just cool. Got a little bit of B7R over here over the ocean. If you get that reference, you are my people. Daseabneren decides he's had enough of this. Gonna launch a big frontal assault. That was not the answer. Now, warships off the coast targeting down barracks, that will work out much better. Also worth noting, Nickname has a transport over here, transport boat. Oh, that didn't come from a new, what's it called? A new shipyard. 2 power plants over here in Nickname trying to make up for the loss of this refinery. Let's see, 1520 for Daseabneren, 1044, and several more territories still to flip here for Daseabneren. Looks like Nickname's breakout. Looks like his push has run out of momentum. This is a pretty defensive posture for this army. Once again, Nickname targeting both barracks at the same time. Like, now, Nickname is a much better player than I am, but personally, I would rather overkill one barracks than underkill two. Like, I would rather just overcommit to one than have both barracks be a little beat up. Daseabneren already adding another barracks there because he's got just a ton of money. Actually, he doesn't have a ton of money. Daseabneren is spending everything he's got, pretty much. Has a new amphibious landing order. So Daseabneren are going to pull these units off the northwest and get those directly into the center very quickly. And the southwest, he's added another barracks and factory. So Nickname able to resist the initial effort, but not going to. This position isn't going to last much longer. Nickname has a barracks set up or coming up in the just south of the center island, just southwest. Daseabneren doesn't see it yet, but still struggling. His Nickname, he's really having trouble getting off of the southern peninsula that he started on. Realizes that Daseabneren is heavily defending his barracks, so Nickname Blue moving towards Daseabneren's main. Rocket is on the stand, ready to go. Nickname has the energy to fire it. I don't remember if there's a capital cost to that. Oh, here we go. Where is that going? Great value out of that rocket. Took out a factory, a couple of barracks. I think this factory is also badly damaged. Oh, Nickname's able to get his units over here, killed this factory as well. He just doesn't have that much. His ground army actually can't even get up here to follow up. Daseabneren adding more production in the center, now bringing those units off to the northwest. So Daseabneren is going to rapidly reinforce the center, and Nickname just doesn't have the momentum to capitalize on that rocket. He just doesn't have the economy to do it. He's at minus 44. He's on power plant energy production. Hasn't built this city. Losing more units in or losing his final foothold in the east. This one might just be over. The southwest, heavily under threat. Another blue navy, or another blue little strike group, gonna come up and take out the last support of this southwestern red position. The production even split between the southwest and the center. But like, look at this huge blue army moving in. So all those units that Daseabneren moved into the northwest now flooding into the center and going to counterattack. This is going to be a hammer blow of a counterattack. Yeah, Nickname just doesn't have anything. course, now that the east is clear, now that all of this production can be routed towards the fight in the center. So the first barracks goes down. Yeah. Daseabneren just doesn't... Nickname just doesn't have any military left. That is GG. So that was a fun one. That was a really good game by both players. A bit of a pick phase win for Daseabneren, I'd say. Nickname started in that southern peninsula, kind of had limited, or he had very limited expansion potential, but Nickname did a good job of getting the tech that he needed to get out onto the map. Daseabneren just too quick, too aware, and able to shut down all of those expansion attempts by Nickname. Parried all of the, all of the flank attacks, all of the amphibious landings, all the commando drops. So great job by Daseabneren staying on top of that and outgrowing Nickname. So that is it for game 1, 1-0 in favor of Daseabneren.